Let me turn now and see if we can't have Dana and Bill join us. Thank you for those of you that have been submitting questions. Keep them coming. We'd like to make sure that we have a chance to answer as many as we can now or following this session. But Dana and Bill, thank you again for joining us. It's so wonderful having you with us. You guys have been active philanthropists for many years. You've been involved in the gathering and praxis, the faith-driven investor community. And Bill, you worked in the White House for a while, and Dana, a long career in international development at the U.S. Agency for International Development. So given your backgrounds, what triggered your interest in this faith-driven investing thing?
So I think collectively, as a couple, we really have a passion for poverty alleviation and what I'd even like to say is poverty prevention. And we were thinking, we began kind of with just the straight grant making, and we were trying to think of, yeah, but we think business is an important lever to actually help change and improve cultures and economies that need that sort of need that all of us need to different extents, but we saw in the developing world that that was especially necessary. And so we were very interested in trying to figure out, from our long interest in the developing world, how can we get invest in businesses there? And we kept asking around, saying, "Is there anybody that you know that actually can help us vetting? We can't do the vetting from here. We have day jobs. We're busy." And I remember, David, meeting you at it was a retirement dinner for then Senator Dan Coates,
Yeah.
and I was so excited to meet you because I said, "You're exactly who we've been looking for." This was right when you were starting it, and so yeah, that was we just glommed on to what you were
The
doing because
team, you could have found much better, but the team you were looking for anyways.
Well, and I would also add that as we've entered into this whole new area, it really is what everybody said is a kind of a new and novel approach that with new financial tools and new and creative ways to have impact. And because of my career in looking at how do we have sustainable long-term impact that is not reliant on charity, how can we do that around the world? And when we saw talent, and we said that is a way. And when we started to learn how our charitable bucket can be used as a goose that lays the golden egg approach, where it is having impact and then returns and can go back out again and have new returns and impact. But then we saw how our investment capital can also have impact and returns. And we'd never seen that before. So that was a novel and new approach.
Super. Thanks, Dana and Bill. And since you guys have been on a learning journey, and many of the people joining us today may be nearer to the beginning of this journey than you are, what advice would you have to share that might help them along the journey?
start on your website. They're obviously here, and we're happy to talk with anybody also just about our experiences. Anybody wants to contact us, and you can contact David and you can connect us. But I would just say start by asking questions and understanding it. I know the first time we heard these things, I felt like we had to hear them like 6 times over because it wasn't sinking in. Even when we first started getting into it, involved with a DAF, a donor advised fund at National Christian Foundation, then understanding, well, how that money could be deployed rather than just a market index strategy. So it's been a step-by-step process for us, learning the vernacular, learning the whole structure, learning how we could, donate our appreciated capital, avoid capital gains, puts it to NCF, which and then in turn then invested in Talenton, and all of it has been exciting and new and can be intimidating at first, but you make it easy, David.
Yeah, well,
Well, and I
Dana?
would add that you find trusted people. And when we saw your team, their depth, their global experience, I would say we trust you in your and other groups that we work with in their legal structure. They know accounting, they know regulatory rules, they know the problems that they're going to face culturally in different countries, and very sensitive to that. you look for people who are godly, wise, and accomplished. And then you let them answer and do the work that you don't have time to do. And that's what we found in Talenton is that trusted long-term, experienced team. So
Well, thank you both for that. We appreciate this partnership. One of the things that we hear frequently from potential supporters is that they'd like to involve their family. They want to pass their values along, and they don't know how to do that. And you guys have been intentional about trying to make this a joint journey with your family. How have you managed to do that?
Yeah, we've talked to our kids when they're now in graduate school and one's still in college. And so we've talked to our kids about poverty from when they were very little. And we really wanted to create in them a moral imagination for addressing poverty. So we would go on vacations and we go to the developing world and we do some fun things, go on safaris perhaps, but also then go visit places which were ministering to through poverty alleviation. And then Dana got the great idea. Our first investment through you, David, was through a cashew processing facility in Mozambique. And so we went on a vacation to Mozambique, seventh poorest country in the world, and visited there the factory, which I can't tell you how excited our whole family was, and it invigorated us to think we don't want to be voyeuristic about poverty, like, oh, look how poor they are, and look how wealthy we are, and aren't we blessed? No, we want to think about how can we transform this? How can we tear off little pieces of the darkness? And we think business, by the way, is way more powerful way to do that than grant making in general. But we've passed this on to our kids, and there's nothing like going there with your kids to actually pass on that vision, because you could talk about poverty all day long, but until they walk into a developing world slum, I don't think you can quite get it the same way.
well, and they also then see that it's a partnership and that people have resources and capacities that just need to be catalyzed and unlocked. And so, as the global family of God, you can see that we are just partners, that we give out of what God has given to us, they give out what God has given to them, and we can do it together as the family of God. And so we wanted to teach our kids that the problems are not overwhelming for God, but and it may be that that's not particularly the country or the area that our child will be called to, but we wanted to give them that picture that one person can make a difference if they pursue this in this way. So
Congratulations on that. And perhaps this part of the conversation is causing some of our attendees to be asking questions. So please drop some additional questions for Bill and Dana, and I'm going to ask the rest of the panelists to join us again on video.